Good morning everybody, it is currently 7:30 and I am kicking this vlog off by completing one of my crafts. So last night I stayed up till about midnight creating a spinny really cheesy, I'm calling it like my whirly doll off Rick and Morty, but anyway. So I've seen heaps of booktubers do like spinny things to help choose them their TBRs and stuff, and it just looked so much fun. And I went online and looked up how much it would be to make, and I was like, you know what, I bet I could just make that. So I used a YouTube video, I'll link it down below as my tutorial, and this is what I've got so far, but I need to do a couple of other licks of paints and I'll be back. It's meant to be summer New Zealand. So as you can see, I finished the wheel and I was going to do the like spinny thing in this vlog, but I decided actually I'm going to make it like a whole separate video series where I spin for 10, get 10 books, read them, instead of doing like monthly TBRs. Anyway, it's all explained in the video that should be up for you guys. I'll link it somewhere. A quick update on Pride and Prejudice. I'm on page 130 and I have to say, I am loving this so freaking much. I'm actually amazed. I think I already mentioned in last week's vlog that I was so scared of the 1813 reading style, but she's actually really hooked me in. I still can't sit and binge read like I can some YA fantasy books, but it's still got me gripped, and I love the commentary on, you can just hear Austen kind of not mocking, but having a laugh at some of the experiences she's had in her life. For example, sitting around a dinner table and just feeling the awkwardness as everybody's just trying to be polite to one another. It's really funny, and I think describing it as one of the first romantic comedies of its time is actually really apt. I find sometimes books call themselves comedies and they're not funny. This one's not laugh out loud funny, but it's got like me having a smirk and a grin on my face the whole time I'm reading it. So thoroughly enjoying this classic more than I thought I would. Alright, let's have some fun. So the way I'm going to do this is I'll spin whatever colour it lands on. I read the book that has that colour on the cover. Pink. Let's have a look. We are down to Crazy Rich Asians and Permanent Record. If the spinner lands on a cool tone colour, I'll read Crazy Rich Asians. If it's on a warm tone, Permanent Record. Cool. Crazy Rich Asians it is. Excuse the dirty mirror, I totally need to clean that. So one of the things I'm trying to let myself do more and more often these days is have like chill girly nights. So one of my favourite things to do is have a bath with some bath bombs and a book. So my bath bomb of choice tonight is the super cute multicoloured one from Lush called Groovy Kind of Love. Almost citrusy, I don't know, it's really nice. What does it actually say? Oh yeah, citrus. And then from the first time from there, I decided to go for the Comforter Bubble Bar. This seems to be quite a classic. It's not my like normal favourite scent, but it's quite nice. Like berries, is it meant to be blackberry? Oh, it is too, blackberry. And then normally I also have a face mask, so let's choose a face mask. I have a couple here from Thailand, which I'm like saving, but they're my fave. Right, I think I'll use one of these. Such a nice bath, and I managed to finish 49 pages of Crazy Rich Asians. In the praises for the book, they describe it as Pride and Prejudice, but like Asian. So I can totally see the parallels between this book and wherever it is, Pride and Prejudice that I'm reading at the moment. I have to say I am super thankful to Mr. Kwan for including in the beginning of his book some family trees. I find it so hard keeping track of characters sometimes, and this is such a handy guide. So today was just a day like full of work. I went and had an exit interview because I'm changing jobs, and then I just did some admin stuff I had to do. So it wasn't very exciting. It is now 7 p.m. and I'm going to plant a herb garden. Health warning. Always wear gloves when handling.
Yeah, because it's you can have microorganisms in it.
Nah, YOLO. Sure, it will be fine. 2-person lift. I'm just breaking rules this afternoon. Rosemary, mint, chives, thyme. That one over there is basil, and I never remember if that's coriander or parsley. I'll figure it out. Right. Grow, babies. So every time I go to the library and get books out, I take photos of them for my bookstagram account, and I thought, why not take you guys along on the process this week? I've had a few people on Instagram message me about like what filters I use and asking for any tips. The first thing I think to note is that bookstagram seems to be heavily driven around aesthetic, and sometimes that takes over from the actual content, the books themselves. And I understand that it's fun to have an aesthetic. I love it myself. I remember when I first started thinking about like, oh, what filters and stuff. It's fun. It's a creative outlet. It's a creative outlet for me, and I get it. But I guess what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way is not to stress out so much. Just if you want to create a bookstagram or any Instagram account, I suppose, for that matter, just have fun with it and remember why you're doing it. Are you doing it for the follow account? Or are you doing it for the community? Another like side note, you shouldn't have to go out and buy props for your bookstagram. I look around my house and see what I've already got. So one of the main things that I use for my bookstagram photos is actually this, my bed. I like having white sheets, and it just so happens that I purposely buy white sheets so I can have them as a backdrop. I also have a blanket, the books. The one thing I did purposely buy are these fake flowers from Kmart because they were cheap. I also have a wicker basket, and I want to see if I can incorporate this chopping board. It's just a wooden, normal chopping board, nothing fancy, but I'm wondering if I can incorporate it somehow. So when I actually take my photos, I do have a bit of a process to keep it speeding along. I always have a bird's eye photo of each individual book, just because I like to have that to talk about. And after that, I might put them in stacks by photo or just whatever tickles my fancy. And that's pretty much it. I have 2 types of photos, upright and stacks. If you look on my bookstagram, there's not actually much variance in this style of photography. So I'm going to take some photos and I'll be back. So I've taken all my photos for today. It's taken me about 20 minutes to take the photos, and now it's time for editing. But first, look at the aftermath. Okay, so this is the flowers, and I thought I'd also show you my setup. So here you have pillows with the duvet folded over them, and then I come down to this level. From there, one of my other areas that I take some photos from is here, and there's just some discarded books. So my next process is editing. I'm going to do a screen recording and show you the process up here. I like to use Lightroom to begin with. I open that, and I do have a preset that I use and then like change things, but you'll see all of the settings. Generally it's I bump up the shadows so it's a bit like brighter, but I don't bump up the saturation too much. If anything, I lower the saturation and increase the contrast a little bit, or decrease. It really depends photo to photo. I just like my photos a bit brighter and the whites to be quite white, because then I will up the temperature a little bit, and that's what makes it have, you know, that like warm tone. And in my bookstagram, I really endeavour and try to make it cozy, because that's like my reading vibe, so I try to emulate that. Once I've played around with all of the photo settings, I save it, and then I go into Afterlight. And Afterlight is the app I used to make the dusty effect on my photos. I can't remember if I paid for that, but I know there are a few in-app payments. I think maybe for the light leak one it's a couple of dollars, but either way it's really worth it. I think it's really awesome, and you can change the like transparency of the scratchy dustiness. And then I use to upload all of the photos I've edited and put into the app, and then that's how I see what I like, and that's how I kind of plan my grid. I don't overly plan my feed in terms of making sure the colours all look really nice together, because that's what the filter should do. What I like to do is just upload the book that I've read recently or been reading, or if it's a Sunday, like a weekly wrap-up picture of what I've read, because like I've already touched on, I don't want to always be focused on the aesthetic. For me, it's about the book. So I just finished editing all of my photos. This whole process from start to finish has taken me about an hour, from taking the photos to editing them to messing around on It might seem a bit excessive to some people, but those photos will last me like a couple of weeks, as well as the fact that I take some spare of the moments. One tip I have when you're posting photos is to always crop it vertical, not horizontal, because if it's vertical, or at least square, you take up more screen space, whereas horizontal is less screen space. And in terms of my patterns, I try to go like bird's eye book cover, then like maybe a stack and something else, to just keep it looking a bit more visually balanced. Another tip I would say is to try and make sure the colours in general are balanced. Unless you're going for a full-on like red theme at one point, then orange theme, then yellow theme, I like to try and keep my colours as evenly spread across the board. So I'm currently up to page 303 of Crazy Rich Asians, 100 pages left, and I am really, really loving the storyline of the book. I'm loving all the drama. I can't help it. There's so much tea in this book. There's so much like gossip going on, and I'm just soaking it up so much. The only little thing that I'm having an issue with at the moment is that I feel like it's too big. Like, I feel like the story could somehow be told in a bit of a shorter time frame, but in the same breath, all the chapters are coming from different people's perspectives, like different characters and different families, so there is a lot to fit into it. And I don't think there's been many wasted words. It's just, I don't know, I think I just want to get to the like real big drama at the end of the book that I know is coming thanks to the movie. I do also slightly wish that we saw more from Rachel's perspective and from Nikki's, because they are the main characters. I'm going to run myself another bath and try finish the last 100 pages before the night ends. Good morning. So last night I missioned through Crazy Rich Asians and finished it. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed the relationships and the drama in here. I thought that the relationships were realistic, but insta love at all. There was a whole history, a couple of years building up some relationships, and the relationships that were gold diggy were commentated upon, which I thought was really awesome. I liked the setting, I liked the vibrancy of how Singapore was written about. I enjoyed the bits of drama. The only critique I have with it is that I found it a bit too long. It was 403 pages, which isn't too bad. Dragged on at times for me. I'm aware that could be because I already knew what happened since I've watched the movie, but either way, I still really enjoyed it and I definitely want to pick up the next book. The ending was different to the movie. Not drastically different, but I think the movie upplayed the drama, understandably so. I'm going to keep reading Pride and Prejudice. I'm up to page 151. I'm going to try and mish through this and finish it before the week is up. It was always one of my dreams to have a wicker basket full of bath products. Wicker basket, and here is a Lush haul. I went shopping with Mum and did a little bit of damage. Nothing too big because, you know, this girl isn't made of me, but here is what I got. First, I have the Dragon's Egg Bath Bomb. This is what it looks like. So it's pretty white on the outside, but then it's got colourful popping candy on the inside, and when it dissolves, like all this orange bright colour comes out and you can hear the popping candy popping. It's really fun, and it has a citrus smell to it. The next one I have here is a bubble bath called Bright Side. This is like the sister one to the one you saw me using earlier in this vlog, but this one, it smells like the Body Shop Mandarin Satsuma smell. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, like Chubba Chub, the orange lollipop. And I get 2 uses out of these, so I think they're pretty good bang for your buck. This one is called Strawberries and Cream, and I'm sure you can guess what it smells like, but this is what it looks like. I like this one because you get 2 uses out of it. Again, bang for your buck. It's got a melt in the middle, and so you can just twist this one. And the very last one from Lush is the Sex Bomb. This is just a classic. I always pick up if I don't have it. This is what it looks like. Cute little rose, and it makes the bath the most gorgeous, like lavendery pink colour. And it smells like lavender rose, and it has lots of oils in it, and I always feel so like sumptuous after a bath with this one. And then not from Lush, and actually an old Christmas present to pop in here, just some little bath bombs. These are just vanilla, berry and candy floss scents. To be honest, I don't think they're that great. You don't smell the scents that much, but I find if I don't want to use a Lush one but I still want a little something, I'll use this. Here we are. I'm pretty excited. There we go, there's all my 4. Good morning. Today I am off to Woodville to help Titus in the shop. So I've got today, tomorrow and Sunday potentially helping in the shop, and that's great because it gives me a lot of time to read. I'm still working my way through this. I literally just hit halfway exactly. Really loving it, but as I've mentioned before, Austin's writing isn't very easy for me to just binge read, so I wanted to pick up a few more books, and I thought I would enlist the wheel to help. I think I'll go by colour again. Black. Black. Oh, I've got quite a few books with black on the cover. So these are the 3 with black on the cover, and instead of spinning again, black is actually contemporary. So the contemporary that I have here is, not that one, On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. So this one follows our main character, who I believe it's pronounced Brie, and she wants to be a rapper, but she is unable to really wholeheartedly follow this passion of hers, as her family is left in a position where they need as much help financially as well as possible. So Brie has to kind of sacrifice her dream a little bit from the sounds of things to help support her family. So that will be my first book. Hey Bevan. We named this random neighbourhood cat. Hey Bevan. Hey Puss Puss. How you doing today, Bevan? Okay, and then my second book. I don't think I'll finish 3 books in 3 days, but just so I've got some options, I suppose. Purple. graphic novel manga / purple. Well, I do have a graphic novel up there. I don't actually have any covers with purple, so I'll go for the manga option. This is the second volume in Tokyo Ghoul, where we follow the main character, what's his name? Called Ken Kaneki. So I'm going to butcher that, sorry. And in the first volume, he is bitten by what they call ghouls and essentially becomes half human, half ghoul. And he was starting to come to terms with the morality of that because ghouls eat humans, kind of like vampires a bit. And in this one, it sounds like he's exploring that morality side of things a bit further, as well as some investigators come. So, this is my weekend TBR. My apologies if you guys hear any traffic in the background. I'm just filming this and I'm out by a road. I have just reached volume 3, so the book is split into 3 parts. Volume 3 of Pride and Prejudice, and I'm loving it so much. I think that Austen is a terrific writer with her humour, her irony. I think one of my favourite parts of this book so far is how all the characters are described. For example, the mother is described as one of the younger sisters just because of how ignorant her own actions have upon her own daughters. It's really funny. I also love how much Elizabeth has grown. There are going to be spoilers here, guys. You've had 200, we've all had 200 years to read the book. So Elizabeth's growth. So Mr. Darcy has proposed and she's kind of realised that all of her preconceived, rose-tinted notions and ideas might not be all the truth, and that although she thinks she's intelligent, and she is, maybe her own ideas of intelligence shrouded her ability to make good judgment. But anyway, I'm gonna seriously try and finish this. Good morning. So sorry, I'm just like trying to iron out my frown line. Last night I finished Pride and Prejudice and I was thinking about how many stars to give it, and I think I've settled on 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book so much more than I thought it would. I've probably said it so many times already, but Austen is such an intelligent writer. Her story was full of humour, full of irony, full of just really funny conversations, and I truly enjoyed it. I just can't warrant giving this a 5 out of 5 because I wasn't able to fully immerse myself in it. Part of that is the writing style, but also I think part of it is just it's such a different kind of romance book to modern days. Like, there is no kissing, there is no hugging. The most intimate they get are just really getting close to each other during a conversation, and then their words they actually speak. So I think that stopped me from being fully invested in some of the more secondary characters, but overall I did really enjoy this. I then started Tokyo Ghoul and I'm about a quarter of the way through this. It's great as usual. I'm not too sure what to say about manga books, because especially when it's volume by volume, because I don't want to give spoilers away, but just know it's going really well. And I'll probably finish that today and then I will start on the come up. Hey guys, I'm back here again. I just finished Tokyo Ghoul Volume 2. Can't say much without spoiling Volume 1, but what I can say is that I love manga for how short and easily devourable they are. So like in between quite chunky books, it's quite good. This is my next read by Angie Thomas. Let's get into it. It has been such a good reading week and it is time for a quick little wrap up. So I read Crazy Rich Asians and gave that, what was it? Did I give it a 4 or 4.5 stars? I really enjoyed it. Definitely want to keep reading the series. I then went on to, continued to finish Pride and Prejudice. I gave this one 4 stars. You know all about it. Really loved it. Then today I finished Volume 2 and I've also made a really good start on the come up. I'm on to page 170 and it's really interesting because this actually follows on the timeline after the Hate You Give and after Star and all of the riots occurred over the shooting of Star's friend. And so this one, although I'm following a different character, is actually kind of affected by the riots that happened in Thug. So it's actually really awesome because Angie Thomas has kept the same world and the same vibe and the same message and impact in this novel, but somehow linked it to her previous one. So I'm really enjoying this one. If you have enjoyed this week's vlog, please consider leaving a cheeky like and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.